Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. As you know, this is your evening view, and I'm here for a great show. We're gonna preview the Premier League. I got two guests. One of them is here, the other one isn't here yet, but I'm hopeful he will arrive soon. But we're here to talk about Spurs. Arsenal face Chelsea. Spurs, 5 easy games or not? Can they be top of the league after 13 games? I'm here to know the guys' opinions, of course. Big up everybody that is here already. We're right off the bat, and we already have 25 people. So hit that like button for me, and let me get the first one in here who is here already. You guys know him. His channel is in the description. It's a link. You click on it. You go give him a subscription. If you haven't, like the video early. If you're watching this on the replay, like the video early. People, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, but I'm here with the one and only from Time Added On, Alan Clark, of course. Big up, Alan. Thank you for accepting my invitation. It's your debut here. I really appreciate you helping me.
No worries. Thanks for obviously the invite. I watched your show the other day and had a comment, and you said to come on, so I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Thank you for calling me by my full name. I feel it's very official here, but it's still good.
You don't like it? I can change it. Your name on Twitter is that, actually.
No, it's fine. You can call me that. It's absolutely fine. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you coming in. The invite, of course, you thought I'm against Arsenal. By the way, everybody else saw that I was against Spurs. I got a lot of DMs, people telling me, why you're so harsh on Will? And I'm like, I thought I wasn't, to be honest. I thought I wasn't. But here it is. There's 40 people here already watching. Hit that like button, people. Get us right away to 40 likes. The percentages are not presented. We're waiting, of course, for Lee. Big up, everybody. Let me big up the people that are in the chat. Sidum, Mina, of course. Big up from Canada. Thank you, Mina, of course. Is the Mojenda V show coming tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow morning. For me, tomorrow morning, afternoon in the UK, 1 o'clock. It will be myself and Joe from It's Just a Joe show. It's an agenda show where we actually say who do we want to win every week, which is a strange show. It's a very strange preview. It's not based on football. It's based on feelings. Big up Joshua is here, of course. Chelsea 101 TKA, of course, with us here. SkullX, who's a mod with us. He asked for a mod. And of course, Agon MF here. Send your super chat, support the channel. Check out the membership so you get to be on a panel with me, of course, Sunday or sometime next week. But let's start right away. And since Alan is here with me, let's talk about what questions did you have for me for the first section?
I didn't have questions for you. I just said that I felt you were on the side of Arsenal. You're a bit too leaning towards Arsenal's side. You seem to speak with, you seem to go against Will a bit too much. So I was like, didn't mean it.
So what did I say that was against Will, that you thought it's unfair?
So every single time that he was saying about stats and all that, you were defending Arsenal. There were a couple of times, like I did say in the chat, that you were saying to Kunle, but why? You can't just say about, because you've seen it all before with Spurs. So you were holding Kunle to account in regards to the way he was saying about things, but Will was bringing stats, figures, and it was for a large portion of it to do with the stats and everything like that. It looked like you and Kunle against Will.
Because I don't believe football is only stats. Stats is a big part of it.
It's not, but
it's a big part of it because it's recorded data, as Will says. However, there are stuff that you cannot measure. Reading of the game, positioning on the pitch, the awareness of what's around you, picking up the right pass. You can complete a pass and you can complete another pass, right? And both of them will be recorded as the correct pass, completed pass. But one of them was the wrong pass and one of them was the right pass. Do you agree with that?
No, look, I agree with that. But then same was where you can say, look, I take everything into consideration. I don't just go on stats. I go on stats. I go on eye tests. I go on performances in big games on a continual thing. Not just obviously, playing well against smaller teams. The big occasion. This is why I elevate Didier Drogba higher than most strikers that have ever come to the Premier League. The big occasions, that man always performed. So for me, I take everything into account. But let's just talk about, obviously, the eye test. Like, people go on the eye test, it's what I've seen. But instantly, Kunle was saying, because of what he's seen of Saliba, he's an Arsenal fan. He's going to back his player. And, of course, his eye test is good. Just if he goes on that and don't bring any facts like he didn't have facts, his eye test is going to be biased towards Saliba because he's an Arsenal player.
But I'm not an Arsenal fan.
No, you're not an Arsenal fan. But, obviously, you were going based on that as well. You negated facts because of an eye test alone. Everything, you have to encumber everything. You can't just go for one, because this is how you can skew stats as well. I'm not just a statistical person. People go, oh, one of the best midfielders of all time, Darren Fletcher, because he's won 5 Premier Leagues with Man United.
I disagree with that completely. Everybody that says that, I disagree with them.
Yeah, no, exactly. But that's how you can skew stats, because, okay, he's got 5 Premier League titles, but there's no way if you list 100 best midfielders of all time, Darren Fletcher doesn't make that list.
It doesn't.
So this is why I take everything into account.
But yeah, I don't want to go into the Saliba Romero thing. I wanted to get into the weekend. I wanted to get into Fulham, and I wanted to get into the next 5 games with you before we go on. Now, guys, there's almost 65 of you here. Can we get me to 50 likes so we can get more people watching us, so we get the channel? It's increasing. We got 75 people watching. Hit that like button for me, people. Get me to 50 likes. The like button is the only way this channel is going to grow and get more subscribers in. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. Of course, this is a neutral channel. I don't support the team in the Premier League. And welcome everybody that comes from Dan Potts' stream. Of course, thank you, Dan, for the great redirect. Appreciate you. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Dan. Of course, a friend. I was on his channel. I enjoyed the show. We did a Lampard. If you haven't checked that video, Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, it was a great show with the guys, of course, there. It was absolutely fantastic. Gunnerly is coming. Listen, he promised he's going to be here, Gunnerly. It's not my thing. Like he said, he's going to be here. I hope he's going to be here. I hope he didn't fall asleep. Big up everybody that is here. Of course, hit that like button. Get us to 50 likes right away. And I'm going to go into all the games. I'm going to try to preview all the games, even if Gunnerly isn't here. But we'll talk, because Alan is here. Let's start with Spurs.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I have this argument, right?
Right.
And I said, on paper, Spurs' next 5 games are winnable. You can say Chelsea, maybe you get a draw. So if Spurs get 4 wins and a draw in these next 5 games, right, you will be in 33 points in 13 games. So out of 39 games, you'll be in 33 points. Is that? Do you think at that time we should take Spurs seriously? That says that they are going to be consistent, or we still have to wait and do this wait thing and stuff like that?
I'll say the same, like I've said with everyone, every team that's gone before. 13 games, especially for Spurs, starting like a new process with Ange and stuff like that. It's absolutely way too early to look. You can say we're being consistent in getting the wins, but in regards to anything further than that, you can't say we're in a title race. Title races, I don't consider until at least February, maybe March, is when you can say you're in a title race. So that hasn't come into my mind. You can say we're being consistent, obviously picking up points, and then you go, okay, this is going from a. So obviously, I don't know if people have seen my channel or you have all that. I predicted before a baller's kick, Spurs finishing 6th. This is obviously with Harry Kane going as well. As like 6th, but
I did 7th.
So we're in the same ballpark. So
but because we haven't seen Ange, Alan.
You know, exactly. But what I'm saying is that I don't think any rival fan or even the most optimistic Spurs fan would have had Spurs top 4 even higher than that. I don't think it would have happened. But you revise as you go along the season. But it's only been 8 games. We haven't seen Spurs with a significant long layoff in regards to a Basuma. He's going to be missing for Fulham in a one-off game. But I'm saying like missing a Maddison for a month, missing Son for a month or anything. We haven't seen anything big like that with Spurs. We've had injuries, but we've managed it okay in regards to on the left.
Can I? So let me rephrase the question. If you keep your starting 11 fit for the whole season, do you think you can go all the way?
No.
But you just said we haven't seen it with this and that. But what if we don't see it with this and that? What if we see the whole team fit all season?
Okay, but this is a Tottenham team with that 11, but we've come up against tests and we've put them tests like Arsenal. We went behind twice against them, so we rose up and we came back from a goal down. But this attacking team, we've not gone to play City. We've played City and we've got wins against City. We've been pragmatic. We're going to go toe to toe with City under Ange ball. I expect us, this is the first season that Spurs are going to lose both games against Man City because we're going to go toe-to-toe and they've just got the better players and they've so long. We've got to go away to Liverpool, which is going to be a tough game. You can keep the 11 and stuff, but this team will lose. It's just because we've got this 11 doesn't mean we're going to go on an unbeaten run and win the league. People that are trying to push Spurs into, if you keep the same 11 thing. You're going to have a title race, or you're going to be this and the other. No, you're trying to push it. For me, it's coming across as pushing an agenda to try and have Spurs go, oh yeah, but I think if we keep the 11 fit, we can challenge it. No, it's way too early to tell. Even if we keep all 11 fit, it won't happen, because you got Spurs are going to go away for the Asia game. You're going to have both Basuma and Sada go away for the AFCON as well. So we're not going to have the entire 11. And the drop-off, and this is why I still am reserved about how Spurs are going to do this season, the drop-off in what we've got from 11 to after that is absolutely huge. If you lose Basuma, who are you going to have?
Yeah, Bentancur coming in. So.
No, but we don't know how he's going to be with the injury. We don't know how he's going to...
I listened to you yesterday in the Tottenham away when you said we don't know which one is going to come back.
Exactly. If he comes back and he's the same player, then that's massive for Spurs. It really is. But if he's not the same player and he can't commit or his stuff like that, and he's not the same player, he can't move like he used to and all that, then again, it's just like, and I like Bentancur as a player. I think it was one of our best players last season. If he's not going to be the same player and all that, then obviously you need to move him on as much as maybe. But you're going to have B without.
It will take time for Bentancur to come back.
No, exactly. But like, if you get rid of Basuma, like to the AFCON, the drop off is Højbjerg and Skip. Let's just say Son goes away to the Asia Games. Who's the backup? Richarlison? Come on. This is why I'm saying I'm not sold on we're challenging for a title, we're in a title race or anything like that. Even 8 games in, 13 games in, even in January, because then the owners have to go and back the manager and give him more to have a better squad. So there's too many variables, too many hypotheticals still to be answered. So we're not in a title race, anything like that. It's way too early. Take one game at a time and see where we are. But it's going to be like, if Spurs, like the next 5 games are easy and we only pick up 3 or 4 points out of these next 5 games, then everyone will be like, same old Spurs. So things can happen. Things can change in football so quickly. I just don't buy into the hype this early. No way.
Yeah. Guys, there's about 90 people here. So hit that like button so we can get to the 100 mark. Hit that like button, people, so we can get to 100 people watching us. If the like button underneath your live chat. So let's talk about specifics. Let's talk about the next game.
Yeah.
Specifically the next game. It's against Fulham. You're home. You don't have Basuma. You don't have Bentancur. It's going to be Højbjerg or Oliver Skip next to Sar or something, which is it's a big downgrade, of course. Fulham has come from a win against Sheffield. They've lost 1 game out of the last 5.
Yeah.
How do you see this game going? I've seen a lot of people saying this is the time where Spurs is going to fall, and I'm like, you're really... You're just assuming stuff. What makes people think that you're going to fall against Fulham? And are you scared a lot about this game?
I think the reason why people think we're going to fail is because people expect it of Spurs. So people are expecting what Spurs normally do. So I can't call them crazy or deluded for expecting what Spurs normally do. People are expecting it to happen, and it will happen when we fall off. I'm not worried about this game in regards to I think we'll lose. I'm positive in the way we'll play football. We'll come out, we'll play on the front foot, we'll play attacking football. And it just depends on whether I think Fulham will play on the counter-attack. It depends on whether we can break them down. If we can't control the midfield, like Basuma not being there, then it'll be a lot harder than what it normally would be. Because, like you say, you take Basuma out and you have a Højbjerg or a Skip, who we saw in the midfield, even like the poorness like we saw last year in regards they couldn't control the midfield. Even with 3 in the midfield, I don't think they'll be able to control it. With Højbjerg or Skip, whoever it goes in, it should be Højbjerg. And then if we can't hold the ball, we can't keep them penned in, then they have more areas to escape, more area, like to get up the pitch. And then, it's basically an attack versus counter attack. And you have seen this Tottenham team at times get caught out when we press high. We had it against Arsenal. We were having it against Liverpool before they went down to 10 men. So we have seen this Spurs team get caught out. Will it happen enough against Fulham for them to get a result? Who knows? But I'm confident of a win. I am confident of a win.
Actually, my prediction is a win for you. I'm not sure about the clean sheet though, but I think at home, I think this is going to be the game where you keep the clean sheet as well. This is Ange has now time to work with some of the players, has time now with the players. I think this is where you keep the clean sheet, in my opinion. And this is, I think, for some reason, I have this faith in Ange. I'm not a Spurs fan. I like when someone comes in to change a team right away like this, it just gives you so much like How did you do that? You must be a genius. Like did Zerbi, like first game. You can say that. And a lot of people are asking me in the chat if I left Never a Foul. I did not leave. I'm just focused on my channel a little bit. I will be on Never a Foul when there is a chance. But I'm still sometimes work with the guys. But that's the whole point, guys. There's about 90 people, so give me to 50 likes, and we're gonna continue talking a little bit about Spurs, and then we'll move on to other games. 15 minutes in, I'm not
Mm.
sure if Lee's gonna be here. It is what it is. The last thing about Spurs is that for me, do you think that Daniel Levy will back the club in January if you are in the top 4 places?
History says no because we've been there or thereabouts a couple of times before, and we've wanted managers wanted other players, and we've literally, I think under Harry Redknapp, we wanted, I can't remember the name of the players, but they were decent quality players, and we got like a Reece Nelson and a Louis Saha, a massive downgrade from what the manager wanted. We've seen it over the years, the same things happening. I want our owners out, but I am trying to be balanced as well with it in regards to this summer. We took some time to get the players in, but we were getting the players in that Ange picked. So Ange wanted Vicario over Raya. We got Vicario in. He wanted Van der Ven at Celtic. He got him at Spurs. Apparently, he's had his eye on Phillips, who's a young player who hasn't played yet, but he wanted him in. He wanted Madison in. So Brennan Johnson, he wanted in. So from what's been reported to what's being put on the pitch, and obviously we're seeing the results of it on the pitch, it looks like it finally is now that they are doing the right things and giving the manager what he wants. If that continues, then I expect Spurs to go from strength to strength, and we'll see where that puts us, or if we have success down the line. But if they go back to doing typical Spurs things and in January go, nah, but we'll give you one guy loan with an option to buy, and then you go again in the summer and all that, and don't strengthen the squad in January, which we need in certain areas, another centre back, another striker, and maybe a midfielder. If it doesn't happen like that, then it's typical same old Spurs going, almost doing the job, but not quite. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what these
Yeah.
owners do, whether they back in January. But yeah, again, history would say that they won't. So we'll see if they back that trend.
Guys, can you tell me in the chat? I need a number. Where do you think realistically Spurs will finish this year? Just put that in your mind. It's only 20 teams that got 20 points out of the first 8 games. 11 of them won the title, and 20 of them finished in the top 4. I'm sure you know that, Alan. That statistics. That 20 points in the first 8 games. Only 20 teams got them. All of them made the Champions League. All of them made top 4, and 11 of them won the title. Of course, you on Arsenal. And I want to move on to your views on Arsenal this year. Your views on Arsenal this year. As a lot of people say, fourth, fifth. If you say fifth, I don't know who you think is going to finish above Spurs at the moment. Is it Man United or Chelsea? And I move on to Arsenal a little bit. Get your views on Arsenal. I'm sure you watch a lot of them as well. Do you have the same thing as other people? Like Arsenal look weaker than last year? Is that how you see it?
I wouldn't say they look weaker. They've not hit the same form they have from last season. So I saw a comment from an Arsenal fan earlier on, getting annoyed that I was basically saying my hate for Arsenal. Look, of course I hate Arsenal. They're our rivals, but I like to trigger Arsenal fans from time to time, but I also am very honest with it. Arsenal aren't weak in regards to like they're being exposed. They're just not hitting the same levels that they have, but they're obviously joint on points with Spurs. Because we scored more goals, they're classed as second. So obviously they've not had what Arsenal fans would consider to be their first full team, like their first 11 playing together. And there's a chance that's going to happen with Chelsea. So we get to see, it might not be straight off the bat in how they, because it's going to take a couple of games to get to know each other, and how they play. But if they can get the ball rolling on this 11 and keep people fit and play, obviously improve the performances on the pitch, from where they are right now, they're there or thereabouts exactly again for challenging for the title this season. Will they do it? Who knows? Because people at their own peril wrote Man City off last season. They were 8 points in it, remember? This is very early in the season, and we see Man City normally struggle and then kick in things. So people are already...
We have never seen Man City lose 2 games out of the first 8, though. That never happened.
Well, okay, 2 out of the first 8, fair enough. But people after 6 games were saying they're not going to lose. So this is what I'm saying. Football can change. So in a blink of an eye, Spurs could go from first to fifth with 2 losses because it's quite tight still. It's not like there's a 10-point difference between first and fourth or anything like that, like there has been in different seasons. It's only, I think, 5 or 6 points covering the top 8, if memory serves me well, in regards to that. But people, look, Man City have lost a couple of games. They generally tend to start slow. But I wouldn't sleep on Man City at all. Rodri back, Kevin De Bruyne back. I think you see this team go and do what they normally do. I still have them as favourites. Arsenal would be second favourites. I don't, as much as I hate saying that, I try and be as honest as possible. But yeah, for me, Spurs, I've still got as sixth at the moment because I know how quickly Spurs' fortunes can change. But I'd put Liverpool at third favourites. And then people say, who would you put in front of Spurs? I think you have a shout for Newcastle. They haven't hit the heights that they have last season, but I think they've got the squad to do it. Taking Tonali out of that with what's happened, but I still think they can. That they'll be there or thereabouts. Villa are an unknown quantity. They have a bad result, but then they have great results. And I think Spurs will be in that same category this season. But going back to Arsenal,
But I think Arsenal are the second favorites after.
Yeah, I do. I'll be honest. I think the second favourites, and it just depends on if they
injuries and if these
stuff like that, if they bring it back, because we've seen what they've done last year. You've got more people that say, "Oh, Spurs can do it, but Arsenal can't." No, I'm sorry, but Arsenal, we've got evidence that Arsenal can do it because of what they've done last year, and they went and spent 100 million on a player that, for the performances he's given so far, Rice, he doesn't look a 100 million pound player, and in fact, that he looks a bargain. That's how good he's been for them. So again, the right things are happening for Arsenal, and we'll have to wait and see if that turns into not just challenging for the title, but winning it. I'll hate that day if it comes, but I can't sit here and honestly say that I think Arsenal are weaker. I just think they haven't performed to their max potential.
Do you know that the front three haven't played together this year?
Exactly. And the midfield as well haven't as well. So this is what I'm saying. So Arsenal are a scary proposition. I'm not saying they're not. I hate them.
I think Arsenal are going to be all right, to be honest, in my opinion. I think Arsenal are going to be all right. Looking at them, they started slow. I said some of them are overrated, but then I realized they haven't played together and they struggle. But once they actually get it together, and if that's Arsenal, the same energy I have for Spurs when I say, if that's the beginning of Ange's football, what's the end? And if that's Arsenal starting slow, what's the high? Does that make sense? We know what's the high for Liverpool. We know what's the high for Manchester City. We haven't seen the high of Arsenal. We haven't seen the high of Ange. That's the thing. Liverpool need a DM. We know that. They concede a lot of chances. Their offensive line is good. They scored a lot of goals. But I believe that at some point it will catch up to them. It will catch up to them one way or the other. I think, in my opinion, Saliba this year and Gabriel have been immense. I think Saliba has been one of the best players in the league. Declan Rice is playing all right, very good. People just, of course, tell me that I have an agenda against him because I think he's not that. Because in my opinion, and people just don't like this, when I say I would pick Bissouma over him based on the first 8 games, I'll pick Rodri, but he got a red card. And I think I said Partey is still the better DM in that league, in that team. So that's just my opinion. But Declan Rice has been great, immense, but people want to make him as good as Busquets, as good as Rodri. He's not. That's my opinion. They have Odegaard, haven't hit the highs yet. I don't know what happened to him. I think Maddison is a better player than him overall. You don't know that I'm the one who started this thing in summer at Terry's on the football terrace. I said it was never a foul, but then I said it on the football terrace and that's in the summer, that I would pick Maddison over Odegaard. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, I just think Madison's the better player overall. I'm like, no, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, it's just, you'll see. It's as simple as if Maddison is an Arsenal team, he would do even more. That's just my opinion. It's not a reactionary based on how he started the season. I said that in June.
Yeah.
Which is very, but anyway, long story short, I think Arsenal will be all right. How do you see their game against Chelsea? Because I picked Chelsea to win 2-1.
So, look, their game against Chelsea have picked up a bit of form at the right time, but
exactly.
But is it because they've played against teams that they should be getting a win? I mean, Fulham were toothless against them. Burnley are just trying to attack everyone, like going out and playing ball, but they're getting exposed. They really need to change the way they're doing. Otherwise, they're just going to get relegated. They'll be one of the first teams to go down. So is it the fact that they're playing better ball, or is it because they're playing teams that have enabled them to play better ball? Same with what some people have thrown out about Spurs, where you played only Burnley, Bournemouth, and all that. People are using the same thing for Spurs. Are we only up high because we played four of the, the bottom four teams in the league, as well as some big teams? Could say the same about Chelsea. From what I've seen on the pitch, I think there is improvements in there from Chelsea, like under Poch. They've still got a load of injuries. Do I think they'll beat Arsenal? No. Do I think they can get something from Arsenal? Possibly, yeah.
So you think, like me, you think it's a possibility. It's not a given that Arsenal will win the game. Like this notion that is going around. No, Arsenal will smash them 3-4. I'm like,
yeah, I know. I think I would give it like 90% to Arsenal in regards to they should win, but I'd give 10% to Chelsea in regards to I think they will get a draw. So obviously, I'm going to go for the other option in regards to I'd want to see the draw from the two. So I'm going to go for a 2 draw because that's what I want. But if you were saying who do you believe is the most likely to get the win, obviously it's Arsenal. But Chelsea have come into a little bit of form. But is it because it's just the teams they're playing that's enabled them to look better? Well, this is going to be a true test for Chelsea and Pochettino.
Actually, against Brighton when they won, they didn't have the majority of the ball. And against Fulham, they didn't have the majority on the ball.
Yeah.
People are asking me who said Arsenal will smash Chelsea. I was just on Kunli's channel, and one of the guys said that it's 4-1. Seriously, by the way, 4-1.
Just warning Arsenal fans, you were saying you were going to smash Spurs 4 or 5-1 as well. It does come back to remember what you were saying about Spurs, and it didn't happen that way. So I understand your enthusiasm because of the type of football you're playing, and obviously what you did last season and how you started this season in regards to the points accumulated. But obviously, it was 4-5-0 all again like Spurs. And
I have my reasons why I would pick Chelsea, and I've said it on Kunli's channel.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm saying that is that Chelsea won the last 3 games. 2 of them were against Fulham and Brighton, where they didn't have the majority of the ball. Chelsea averaged higher ball position than Arsenal and Manchester City, and that's why they were losing. They weren't creating enough chances because their players need space. The likes of Sterling, the likes of Cole Palmer, they need more space.
Yeah.
Okay? They need some space to play football. And also the other guys as well. My point is, this Arsenal team will attack them. Chelsea are good defensively, and they're playing at home, so they will have an extra point playing at home. Now, Chelsea, if Cole Palmer plays and Raheem Sterling hit the form that he hit in the last game, with the space behind the midfield of Arsenal, it would be a 1-on-1 battle. Yes, you would pick Saliba. Saliba's this, Saliba's that, because I believe he's one of the best defenders now. But I think Chelsea's attack clicked at the right time. Arsenal's attack hasn't clicked yet. And they're going against a team that is good defensively.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I think they might struggle to score goals, Arsenal, against Chelsea. But Chelsea might find spaces to get a goal or get a set piece or get a corner or get a penalty because they will have spaces. Because my evidence is that Chelsea played very well against Brighton, created chances, and created abundance of chances against Fulham when they had 35% ball possession, which is going to happen in this game. And you'll have the advantage of you're playing at home. This is the only way I can explain it. But I'm not delusional. I'm not going to sit here and I'll pick Chelsea lineup ahead of Arsenal's lineup. My only reason is that Chelsea play at home and they hit the right form at the right time.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I have. And because Chelsea will play all right against an attacking, high-pressing Arsenal team. That's my whole point.
No, look, fair enough. I think TKA has put a comment in there saying they haven't conceded away from home, Arsenal.
Okay, so let me know who did they play away from home. I'm going to go check it. You guys can check that. I'm going to go tell you who Arsenal played away from home. They played Brentford, absolutely atrocious. They played Bournemouth, absolutely atrocious away from home. Right? They played Everton away from home.
Yeah. No, look.
So that's
So if you look at it like that, obviously, again, this is the type of label that gets thrown at Spurs. You've only played easy teams, this, that, and the other. But you've only played these teams. We have played hard games as well. Look, I reckon it's going to be a really good game. And this is a proper benchmark for Chelsea to see if they are turning the corner under Poch. But only time will tell. Again, some Arsenal fans in this chat who obviously didn't understand what I said, because I said I was warning them about they were overhyping the scoreline for Spurs, and it didn't happen how they did. So I was warning them not to do the same thing again. I wouldn't celebrate a 2-2 draw. I was more annoyed we didn't get a 3-2 win against them, because until we took Son and Maddison off, at that point we were having better of the game. So I'm not celebrating anything. You're trying to you're trying to insinuate that I am, but I haven't. I'm warning you guys about overhyping a result that obviously may come back to bite you, like it did earlier in the season. It's as simple as that. But yeah, look, I hate saying it, but I praise Arsenal when they are literally doing well, and they are doing well. They are doing well. It's as simple as that. And I hate saying that, but of course I've got to go for a 2-2 draw because it benefits my team. So I will go for the thing that benefits me most, and it's a 2-2 draw. But yeah, I mean, it just depends on whether they can start taking chances, Chelsea, because they've not, apart from the Burnley game, before the Fulham game, they were struggling attacking wise. Are they finally getting their stuff together up front? Is it starting to click? Is Jackson going to be the type of striker that's going to get him 20 plus goals a season? Who knows? Do you honestly think that Jackson will get him 20 plus goals a season?
No, I don't believe. But however, I actually think that Jackson is a very good player. The way he moves, the way he touches the ball, the way he strikes the ball is a very good player. It just hasn't clicked for him. And we saw, and we saw how he played when he wasn't under pressure, when he received the ball in the 18 and he had to turn the defender and finish. Jackson is a good player. He isn't a rubbish player like people. He was just under a lot of pressure, and I think he has everything in front of me for to be a good striker. It's just he hasn't. The whole Chelsea team were atrocious because it wasn't ticking for them. It wasn't clicking for them. That's the whole point. Now we see them clicking and not under pressure and winning games. We'll see the actual abilities of some of their players. You see the Enzo, you see the Caicedo. That's the whole point.
Yeah. No, look, I get that. I just think it's going to be a very entertaining game. And again, like I said, it's a marker to see where Chelsea are at. But, if Arsenal do get a comfortable win, then and they start showing a higher level, then, I think rival fans need to be more worried about Arsenal than what they have been, because a lot of our rival fans have been saying about Arsenal that, they're weaker, they're not going to do as much. And I just don't see it that way. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. But if they put Chelsea to the sword, then it's going to be a bit more.
I said, so hear me out. When I say Arsenal might lose to Chelsea, I'm not discounting them, or I'm not saying that they're going to be out of the title race. I actually believe that this year there will be 8 games for every team that is going to be tough to play away from home, no matter who are you, which is going to be Man City. There's 9 teams: Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, Manchester United, and Chelsea. Any of these teams away from home, it will be not an easy game. It can go either way. The only team that I would pick to win more games is Man City, because they stamp their authority on the game. That's my point. But every other team, it might be a struggle. Not a struggle, but it might be not as guaranteed. Like there's a 9 teams. I think the league will be 180 plus point max.
Yeah.
Max.
No, so when I was saying about rival fans, I wasn't including you. I was just saying I have seen rival fans, but I can't just remember every name that said it. But the other people have said it. Like people in here earlier on were trying to hold me to account because Will said that we're in a title race. That's Will, not me. Go speak with Will about Spurs being in a title race, because I haven't said that. So yeah, you can't hold me to account for other people, but other rivals weren't including you because.
Well, no, I'm not collecting receipts. Nobody is.
That's fine. It's all good.
Nobody's collecting receipts here. We're just talking football, because we know the game is played on small margins, and I believe that the league will not be won by 15 plus points unless something dramatic happens. And I don't get why people, like even Chelsea now, if it clicks for them, and they get Nkunku back and they start firing, who says they cannot get top 4? Because I actually think that Chelsea, which is a good segue to Chelsea, I think actually Chelsea have something going for them,
Hmm.
which is different than Man United. Does that make sense? Like, I think Man United have nothing to watch for them, going for them at the moment, even though they won against Brentford. I
Yeah.
think Chelsea only need is things to click for them. That's the only thing,
Yeah.
and that's completely different than other teams. Imagine if Chelsea win against Arsenal, get a point. They have a really tough fixtures coming up,
Yeah.
but if they get out of that all right,
Yeah.
I think January comes in, they get a striker or something, and it works for them. That's my point. People
Hmm.
like I said, Chelsea are in shambles. Of course, I don't want Chelsea to succeed because I hate that model of football, and I
Hmm.
was so blunt about it. By the way, I
Hmm.
have an agenda against that model of running a football club. I don't
Yeah.
like it. I think it's doing more harm than good to football. But I'm just speaking that what I see on the pitch. To be honest, I don't know what do you think about that. Do you think Chelsea can come back though?
Look, I think they can. It's going to take time, though. It's not going to be like when you've had over 20 players in the last 18 months to 2 years to 3 years. When you've had that many thing, most managers would struggle in changing and adapting, especially with all the things. This is not going to be a quick fix for Chelsea, but slowly but surely, putting in the right people in the right places, getting the odd person back from thing like that, and people understanding and buying into and Poch's way of playing and getting better at the system, slowly but surely over time. Do I think top four this season is on the cards for them? Not quite. Similar like was the Spurs, but I think they'll be there or thereabouts for European football. I just think again, like I say, you've got so many injuries. You've got what I'd say 2/3, maybe even more than that, bought for different managers and different style playing styles, and now they've got another manager in Poch and another playing style to contend with. So this is a season for Chelsea in finding out how they're going to play, who's going to be the best person for Poch, and who he can rely on. And then when they get to the end of the season, you'll see where they go. I think 2 or 3 seasons down the line, giving Poch time, I think they'll kick on. I think they'll do really well. But again, he'll always have he hasn't won trophies in England hanging over him. Oh, he's bottled things for Spurs. He'll have all that hanging over him. Although he got trophies at PSG, it was expected of him this and that. But you've got so many different things aimed at Poch, and he's got to overcome them. But if he's given the time, and this is a big question because Todd Bowley has shown that he could be a bit of a madman in charge as well. Given the time, I think Poch can do a good job, but it's whether he's given that time.
So let me ask you the question.
Go for it.
I said before the assignment of Pochettino that he's the right man to develop these youngsters because he did it before,
Yep, I said
but
that.
not the right guy to take you over the line,
Right.
right? Because he hasn't done it before, especially with Spurs. You had too many chances. I thought that he's one of the main reasons with Daniel Levy, of course, why you didn't create history while you were close to the top, like when Chelsea did and what Manchester City are doing right now. But do you think this might be the turning point in his career? He's not old. He's not an old manager. He's a young manager, respectfully, in comparison with other managers that started really late in their career. Do
Yeah.
you think might be the job with the backing of the owner for him to start winning trophies and put more respect on his name?
Yeah, look, absolutely. What I've said about Poch going to Chelsea, I said before he went there, I said this on the Gauss channel, Vibes from Six. I said he was the right choice of manager for a young team because came into Spurs with a young team and done the same thing. So we're on the same wavelength there. Again, I agree with you in regards to this is what I'm saying. This is why Bowley must give him time because if he doesn't give him time and gets rid of him, it's just a waste. But if he gives him time to implement the way he wants to play and build this team together, like this young team and help them develop like he's done at Spurs, and they get to that, I believe there's then an owner. If he listens to what Poch wants, I believe there's an owner that will give him the funds to build the team how he wants moving forward. And if he does, that was the one stigma at Spurs is that they never had the owner to go when he went to him was like, look, give me 1 or 2 more players or stuff like that. They never quite gave it to him, and then we went 8 2.
Yeah, I remember that after the Champions League, you had a summer with no major signings at all, which is
Exactly.
very
So
strange to me.
I think although he's a madman, he's more than happy to spend money, Todd Bowley. So giving Poch the money to buy the players he wants, I think this will be, over time, if he's given the time, he will win trophies at Chelsea. Just depends on if he's given that time. That will be the big big thing.
Yeah, guys, over 100 of you here, and we're not even on 100 likes. Yeah, hit that like button. Over 100 people here. Hit that like button. Get us more people. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Share it on your social. Of course, we're trying to get this. And I don't know, there is a beef going in the chat between people. I'm not actually involved in that beef. People are beefing with each other in the chat. I love it. It keeps the chat going. I like that. But I want to move on from Chelsea to Manchester City and your views on Manchester City this year. You play Brighton at home. And for some reason, I have these people predicting 2-2, 1-1, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because Man City lost back-to-back games. And they have Rodri back. How do you see Manchester City this year, though? Haaland hasn't scored for like 3-4 games. Kevin De Bruyne is injured. How do you view them this year?
Yeah, look, I mean, before the Rodri red card, and I'm pretty sure it was 2 yellows, weren't it? Did he get a straight red? Is he banned for 3 games?
This is 3 games. This is going to be his game back because he got suspended for 3 games. He lost 3 games.
Okay, so yeah, so he's going to be back this game. So that's a massive bonus for them. The thing is with Man City is before obviously the red card, people were like, "Oh, this Man City team is unstoppable." So because they've had obviously they lost to Arsenal, now people it seems like very quickly are disregarding Man City, and I'm like, guys, we haven't learned from this. The amount of times Man City have been panned in the last couple of seasons to come back and just literally win it and dominate it, we can't be doing that again with this Man City team. We should expect them to be there or thereabouts or favourites still at this point. With Haaland, again, this is what I don't understand with football fans. I made a short on my channel last year saying Haaland's banging in goals. Congratulations, but I'd still rather have Harry Kane as a footballer. So I saw this other segment where Haaland with the goals as a striker, great, you'd have him, but as a player all round, you'd have Harry Kane. And I was told, oh no, Haaland's a beast, an animal. He doesn't stop. He's going to score all the time, this and the other. And I was like, he will have down points. He will have down periods and all that. Like he will. He can't operate at that level all the time. It's now come to these couple of games, and I'm like, this is what I expected. And now all the people that go, Haaland won't do this or do that. Now all of them, all of a sudden, every single one of them that was saying about Haaland last season doesn't drop off, doesn't do anything. Now they're all saying, just to obviously, troll people. Oh, Haaland shit. He's never been this good. And I'm like, no, don't be like that. He's not taking his chances, and it's a slight dip in form from what he does, but he will. The amount of chances created, I think he was still top scorer, even though
he's 8. Yeah, he's 8. So he's top scorer.
Top scorer without scoring in 3 games. If he picks it back up and does the same thing and all that, then literally they're dispatching teams, and there again, people going, oh, Man City are going to win another season. So people just need to chill and just relax. So reactionary are fans these days that it's just like, as soon as Haaland goes and scores a hat-trick next game or, scores 5 from 7 or that, people were like, oh, look at Haaland, he's amazing again. But you were just panning him saying that he was an average, like he's finished, or, the buzzwords that fans use and all that. And I'm just like, no, slow down. They'll get Rodri back. Haaland's going to be there. But Brighton are going to go toe-to-toe with them. And I believe that you'll get to the point where I think you'll get to the point where Brighton will go toe-to-toe like they did. Who was the last team they played against? Liverpool. And they had some good luck against Liverpool, but they also should have been beaten because Liverpool got at them quite easily. And I think Man City will do the same thing to them. I think Man City will beat them like 3-1, 3-0, 3-1 or 3-0. I really do. I don't see it going any other way than Man City win. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't see a Brighton win here. Like it's at the Etihad. It's a fortress. Nobody wins at the Etihad. It's as simple as that. People want to say Haaland got pocketed. Haaland should have done more against the Arsenal team. I believe so. This is my opinion. As a striker, you also have to sometimes you'll have to create your own chances. And some people told me that but he created the chance in the first 5 minutes. But where was he in the next 85 minutes? He didn't create enough chances. He didn't move enough. That's what I think happened in the game. But I think Man City will be all right. I think I'll pick them to win the league still, just because I know that Kevin De Bruyne will be back. I know that John Stones will be back. I know that, they're going to go back to the winning ways. It's going to be easy creating chances for Haaland. He's going to back them, and he's going to put the ball in the back of the net. The other thing is, so moving on from Manchester City. No, actually, before we move on, I wanted to ask you, because I got asked this question. Are they Are they in for the double? Can they retain the Champions League? Do you think they are the favorites in Europe to win the Champions League?
Um,
Especially with Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich now. So that's a completely different beast.
yeah, it is a different. Look, it's very unless you're Real Madrid. I can't remember the last time a team done it other than Real Madrid retain the Champions League. So it's not something that's done often.
It
They've won
hasn't.
it.
It has never been done other than Real Madrid.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. There you
In the
go.
Champions League
Yeah,
era, it's never been done. In the Champions League era, which
yeah.
started, I think, in '92.
I think before that, you could say there was teams like I think Inter.
Milan retained it. Liverpool retained it.
Yeah,
But in
but
the modern era, they've never done.
exactly. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to do it. Again, they won it last season. I'll take nothing away from them, but their record before winning it in Europe was quite poor. For the team they had, for the manager had, it was quite poor. Last year they got over the hump. Can they retain it? I don't think so. I think it's a bit. I think it's a bit too quick to say they're going to retain it. Are they one of the teams up there? Of course they are. But I just think we've seen so many times, and there's been some teams like Real Madrid who have won it. Like the year that Real Madrid won it against Liverpool in the final, people I remember that year were saying that Real Madrid really shouldn't have won it. They weren't at the level that thing like that. But they turned up in the big moments in the big games, and obviously the Bale overhead kick got them the win. But I think Real Madrid are a threat. In my honest opinion, Real Madrid are a threat. Barcelona are a threat. Bayern Munich are a threat because they've been there, done it, bought the City as well. Man City have as well. But these teams have got European, people say heritage. Real Madrid have and all that. I don't say they're going to be. I don't think they'll retain it. I really don't. I think they'll win. I think they'll win the league, Man City, but I don't think they'll retain the Champions League.
Yeah, the first super chat. Thank you for the support. Of course, guys, your super chats are appreciated. It keeps the channel going. It keeps me going. And it's really appreciated. Over 100 people here. And I don't know why you guys are greedy and you don't want to hit that like button. Seriously, Staffy is asking, why is Alan doing here? But
I
yeah,
said
it's
I was
fine.
coming here. You were just on my channel, Staffy. I told you I was.
Raz here is asking, what players' positions would you change for the better in ASR squad? Is that Arsenal he means? ASR.
Yeah, ASR. I would assume that's Arsenal.
Raz, is that Arsenal? Thank you for super chat. Can you tell me what is that Arsenal though? Is that Arsenal? But you just type ASR. The only position I would change, I would actually get a proper 8. Yeah, thank you, Raz. Because I think that Xhaka last year played a major role in how he played. He was the heartbeat. Like people say, it's Odegaard scoring the goals, Thomas Partey in the DM. The one that has contributed to both, Xhaka, remember, had 7 goals, 7 assists, but also he was someone who does last-ditch tackles in that midfield, but they haven't replaced that. And I think if they play Declan Rice and Thomas Partey is too defensive, and if they play Havertz, who for me isn't a midfielder, shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If they go and get an 8, a proper 8, and if they have had Gundogan, which is, I thought that Arsenal should have gone all the way to get Gundogan a contract for 3 years, because that would be the proper 8 replacement, clearly better player than Xhaka. Imagine him next to Declan Rice as a DM or Thomas Partey with Odegaard. That would be the best option.
Yeah.
A proper 8 would help Arsenal massively. And I don't know about you, this Ivan Toney thing. Ivan Toney is a great player, but he plays in a counter-attacking team in Brentford who averages 46% possession. Arsenal is a team that averages over 60% ball possession.
Yeah.
And Gabriel Jesus is the one that makes the space for Saka to get 15 goals, Martinelli to get 16 goals, and Odegaard to get these goals. If you put a proper number 9, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard might not get the same. But thank you for the super chat, Raz. This is who I would change. The only thing I would change is get a proper 8 to play for that Xhaka role of last year. I don't know about Alan if he wants to answer that.
Look, I would. The main thing I would say about Arsenal would be that I would go for a striker. I know you say it would take away from Saka,
like Haaland with the rest of the Man City squad.
Yeah, sort of. But look, I think Saka and Martinelli are that good that they can. If you had a number 9 that was good enough to be able to create as well, because there are some of them out there.
Only one in the world.
Well, Harry Kane, but
that's it.
But no,
which was Benzema the year before. You know that Benzema the year before and Harry Kane is the only two players that I think they can assist and score.
Yeah. No. Look, for me, I believe if you get the right striker in who can link up and all that, they're also good enough to get their own goals as well. But I still think a good striker can bring them into the game. You know, if Arsenal need to at some point, like play one like a long ball if they're behind and looking for a goal to a target man who can bring in the likes of Saka, hold it up for Saka and Martinelli. That's a different way of playing for them if they need it, where they don't really go to that. But yeah, that's the only thing I would change. Arsenal, I'd have a number 9. But you say obviously you think it would be a detriment to Saka and Martinelli. I think it could be obviously help them with goals in that
It
aspect.
depends, but who would you get that has this rule, Alan? There's nobody in the world that is that good.
Well, you don't know. You don't. They could come obviously not at the moment, but they can come to Arsenal and completely change things. Osherman obviously is a finisher. Could he do that and bring in the likes of Saka and Martinelli into play? Maybe. But
Maybe, yeah.
will they go and spend after spending 100 million on Rice? Go and spend over 100 million on Osherman? Will they? Will they?
Maybe. Super Spurs is saying salam, bro. Congrats. Inshallah, more success. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Amin. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate you guys and appreciate all the supports. Check out the memberships, of course, in the description. And check out Alan's time added on channel. Great content. Spurs, but not only Spurs, of course. You get all kind of football content, of course, rivals. And just go click that link, give him a subscription, even if that means you leave this channel and then come back and chat with me. It's a simple click. It's not going to cost you a penny. Go give him a subscription. I hope that Alan gets 40 to 50 subscribers after this one. It's simple. It's easy. It doesn't cost you anything. And also the like button doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps the channel massively. The last part is freaking Manchester United.
Yeah.
Where are they going? What is Manchester United at the moment?
So Staffy's still in the comments. Yeah, eat this, Staffy. No, look, Man United are an absolute mess. They are. And it's, look, on the pitch, yes, and obviously off the pitch, yeah. I don't really want to go too much in off the pitch. But on the pitch, I think you've seen a manager that, for whatever reason, this was meant to be their season where they kicked on. A lot of Man United fans were saying, and not Staff in particular, but I saw a lot of Man United fans saying that they're good, their title challenge this year. And obviously, it's gone to pot. I think you're seeing a manager that doesn't know his best team, who's not picking the right players, and there's just disharmony. And from what I've seen of Ten Hag in the way he played football at Ajax, now I got told that he didn't have the players he wanted at Man United to be able to play the same way he did at Ajax. Okay, Ajax was more free-flowing football, but the type of players they've got at Man United, they should be playing better football than the way they are. Let's be honest, the type of football they're playing is horrendous. I know horrendous football. I put up with it for 4 seasons after Poch. I know what it is. And this is a type of football that is bereft of ideas. It seems like they've got no identity about them. I see a lot. I think they've made the wrong decision in making Bruno Fernandes captain. I think he moans and complains way too much. I
freaking hate the guy, bro.
I do as well. I can imagine.
I like him as a player, but I think if you're gonna make anyone captain, it's not him. You know what I mean? Like anyone else would be the better captain than him. He's a good player, but oh my god, that decision! I think that decision affected the player. This guy doesn't pick anybody up. Always complains and moans. Like I don't see a leader on the pitch. I don't see someone picking people up and telling them to play better. I see someone screams. Oh my god, it's absolutely.
No, look, I completely agree. It's everything I've been saying. I think that was a mistake. Obviously, Rashford's not been in the best of form. I think he's reaching and trying to play too many with his youngsters or bringing people back. There's times where, look, again, as a Spurs fan, there's times where you just go, you're not good enough, go away from the club. That would be for me. Martial and certain players, McTominay, I think should go as well, but they're taking it, they're dragging their feet and they're not doing the same thing. And this is all things that I've said about my own club as well. So people go, oh, you can't take digs at Man United. I've said this about Spurs in 3 or 4 seasons. So I'm saying the same thing from when I see it in your club, and people may not like that, but it's just what I've seen. I think Ten Hag doesn't last till Christmas. I honestly don't. From what I've seen,
I said if he's 8th to 10th by December, he gets sacked, because Man United again is a big club and they can't just be losing. And I think the problem is the pressure will get to him. That's what I think, in my opinion. But listen, I want to thank Alan for being here. I hope that you got some subscribers, because I know the people that went to subscribe to your channel. And
Not
people,
yet, not yet, but it's early. Not yet, but it's early.
yeah, people, just give Alan a subscription. It's in the description, of course. Make sure to like the video. Give me 200 likes. And if you stay on the stream, it will take you to This Is Football, to Ossam's stream. He's screaming and whining and talking about Liverpool, of course, and talking about his owners and stuff. Thank you so much, Alan, for being here. It was your debut. It was absolutely phenomenal having you here. Had a great show with you. Rational talk, no banter. And now you know my views.
That's all right. It's all good.
Yeah, and then thank you for everybody that watched me. Thank you for the 2 super chatters that sent me super chats today, Raz and Super Spurs. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. We really appreciate you guys. Big up everybody that has been here. Some people just went and subscribed to your channel. He just told you in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alan. And hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. UK time, the Mojenda show with Joe, where we talk about our agendas for the weekend. Check this out. The notification bell is very important, so you know when I go live. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. We're out.
Cheers, guys.